I've made it to Guatemala. And I haven't posted in quite some time because I've been bouncing around and making my travels, and just there's been challenges in recording videos. So here I am. And let us say that all of the dreams of ease and grace and love and light and rainbows and butterflies and tropical fruit farms and abundance, 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 all of that has been shattered. Momentarily, at least, to remind me that I am still in my shadow work era. Because I'd forgotten that Guatemala is a third world country and what that means, and the level of poverty and pollution and decay and destruction and misalignment and just desperation and all of these energies which are a lot to handle. Such that I have so many conflicts, so many experiences, so many sensations, so many downloads, you could say, from this whole journey that I must talk about it step by step. The first step being that there was some part of me that believed that I could escape the rat race, the constricting confines of capitalism and America, and the rush and the way that technocracy, shit, I shouldn't use that word. All of these people that are just rushing and rushing and rushing and go, 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 and survival, 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 root chakra, root chakra, root chakra over in America. I thought I could just waltz into Guatemala and find a cozy, slow paced fruit farm pace of life that's like we're more in tune, more harmonious with the earth, more aligned, more connected to nature. Only to find that the very same systems of control, of monetary systems, of food and survival and addiction and vice, and the boiling red dust of the city, and people ensnared by survival and temptation. It's not only still here in Guatemala, it is amplified to the fucking max. And the desperation and the poverty and the pain that people are in and the trash that is everywhere and the pollution. Literally, I went to Antigua and the air was not breathable. I thought I was going to die. I was like, this is it. I'm, I'm dying here. And all of the shops have been nice and gentrified, and they're probably in debt to some bank somewhere. And then there's Guatemalan workers who are like, we gotta pay these bills, we gotta pay these bills, we gotta pay these bills. Can you come into our store and buy and buy and buy and buy? We need your money. And see, I hadn't been out of the country for 7 years. I'd been to some third world countries in the past, But that was at a time in my life where I was aware and I did feel and I did notice. And I was like, holy shit, this is crazy that people live like this. But some part of me had forgotten. And also, that version of me was drinking, was consuming food mindlessly in ways to numb himself, was selectively unaware of the things and was very willing to go into the la la lands of the richer hotels and of the places where the gringos hang out and just sedate ourselves to forget the fact that the foundation of all of this material opulence is these beings who are suffering in the concrete just as much, if not far more, as and than those in America, where the white picket fences are built around the neighborhoods and the countries and the houses to pretend like these things don't exist. So years ago, I was numbing myself to the point where I may not have felt the depth of the scarcity, the depth of the pain, the depth of the desperation. This time around, I feel it so deeply in my body. The energetic sensitivity is like off the charts. To where there's a part of me even that was pondering as I'm in the bus, like looking at the polluted air, and I'm like, holy fuck, like this air itself is not breathable. And people live in this. As a white American man, tall, blonde, blue eyed, walking through this realm, there was like this part of me that's like, did I do this? Am I responsible for all of this? In America, I've been living out of my car, just like driving around from place to place, all this gasoline coming out. And I wonder, is this a mirror of the scarcity lifestyle that I've been clinging to and of my hyper dependence upon the petro techno industrial system of capitalism and false control and debt and all of these things? And the depth of the poverty that I see, and the depth of the pollution and all of the plastic and all of the meaningless consumption on which these people rely, is it a mirror of some part of me that has been directing my life in the places where I'm still stuck in scarcity, where I'm still stuck in my own versions of poverty consciousness, wherein these poor Guatemalans are this mirror screaming to me, like, this is you. This is you. This is what you chose. This is the mirror that you chose for yourself. And the fact that I've found my way to a mystical yoga farm where a bunch of hippies are gathering, singing kumbaya and love and light rainbows around prayerful fires, which are potent and which are powerful and which are healing and which are not to be thrown away and cast out as if like they're useless. They are medicine. The prayer and the song and the voice and the breath and the energetic work that comes with anchoring a frequency of love and truth and light and cultivation of sovereignty for those who actually are devoted to that work and who are not simply trying to take an Instagram photo to say, like, look at me at this beautiful lake with volcanoes. Oh my God, I'm living the spiritual life. Like, there is a clear distinction between the deep, devoted work and the appearance of doing that work, while simultaneously feeding the very scarcity, the very destruction, the very like extractive relationship of relational extraction between beings who are here to deceive themselves and one another. I'm walking the tightrope between those parts of myself which are devoted and which are truly prayerfully seeking the way to heal myself, and all of these people who are stuck in this survival and in the ripples of destruction which have been imposed upon them by the techno-capitalistic worm and parasite. That is one side of the tightrope. Wait, the devotion and how to heal self and other from within and without. And simultaneously, on the other side of the tightrope, witnessing many Guatemalans who themselves are stuck in scarcity, who witness me as an American being and are like, that guy can easily be deceived for money. He doesn't know the prices of things. Let's charge him double, triple what he would normally have to pay. Let's like have this opportunity to, since we have been extracted from by colonial parasitism, let us also extract and deceive, and thus create a reciprocal system of deceit and extraction, which then only perpetuates the cycle of destruction and illusion and falsity and enslavement. This other side of the tightrope, where deceit and extraction are at play, I must witness within myself what parts of me are extracting from myself, extracting from a land and a people who this land doesn't belong to me, these people do not belong to me. In what ways am I trying to extract? In what way was my dream to be like, oh, I'll just escape America and I'll go find the fruit and I'll just like take the fruit and I'll consume all the fruit? The mangoes, the avocados, the coconuts, the tropics. Some part of me believes that I can just show up and be entitled to receive these things without working for them. And so I've been facing the walking of this tightrope and the deep, shadowy, underworldly inner conflicts of the mirrors, telescopic, that I've been peering into in this experience. And I've been asking myself, how do I heal this? How do I play my part in healing this within myself and for this community of peoples who have been assaulted, with whom in some kind of solidarity I share a common enemy, so to speak, or a common parasite which seeks to extract the soul essence, the cultural, spiritual essence, and turn it into plastic and petroleum. How do I heal? And how do I interact with the people who are stuck in the networks and reciprocal systems of deceit and extraction? How do I anchor myself into my heart, into my light, into the breath and spirit and divinity of God, into a sacred boundary that simultaneously acknowledges compassionately that these people are acting from a place of ignorance and suffering and deep, 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 deep pain, and the desire to provide for themselves and for their families and one another. How do I hold up a firm boundary against those systems? And how do they, when they believe that they have to deceive, that they have to extract, that they have to work in the plastic exchanges and in the petro economy, how does each human being who is stuck in these systems and the ripples of deceit and falsity which these systems carry, how do we still operate in the world in a way that is in integrity and in a way that is truthful and honest? And as I was journaling about it last night, I realized that whether I am myself, Carl, here, this human being, or if I was a Guatemalan in any kind of fairly despicable material situation where the world presents temptations to extract and to deceive for personal gain, the only way is to say no to that temptation, no matter how strong, no matter how necessary it may seem. To say no to the temptation to deceive, to say no to the temptation to extract, to witness within ourselves the ways in which we unconsciously operate within these systems of deceit and extraction, and then to root ourselves in heart, in prayer, in true devoted prayer to God for support, to pray and to trust and to have faith that God will send the proper supports to those who anchor a frequency of truth and love. The Guatemalans who have shops, if they're like, come check out my shop, come check out my shop, I don't really want to go in there. But if I see like a beautiful Mayan grandmother who clearly is like in her heart and is just embodying love and is just in her prayer, I'm far more likely to be like, wow, I feel this energy. I want to like be in this space. And I want to like be in reciprocity here. And I myself need to also carry that prayer and be embodied in my heart, embodied as love, in that frequency of love, so that the magnetism draws me and draws in love and truth and repels any form of deception, whether it comes from Guatemalans, whether it comes from America, whether it comes from Europe, the Middle East, anywhere. Truth, love, God, and freedom. Staying in absolute devotion to these, no matter what our circumstances are. And I understand in some sense I'm coming from a place of deep privilege that I'm witnessing here in saying, like, these are the things that are necessary to devote ourselves to. At the renunciation, at the sacrificial expense of all deceit, all falsity, all ignorance, all pain, all reciprocal networks of mutual extraction. The key download here, the key lesson here is that extraction breeds extraction, whereas love breeds love. And in a world of such ubiquitous chaos and misalignment and evil and survival and deceit, somehow finding and praying for the way to choose love, to choose to embody the authenticity of one's own heart, to show up in the world as that, in gratitude, in service, in honor, in authenticity. This is the way to create reciprocal networks of mutually expansive, mutually loving, mutually truthful, mutually freeing and liberating networks of healing globally. And every human being somehow has to be guided to that choice. Somehow, when in spaces of such deep material difficulty, of such deep spiritual difficulty, where it is the deepest challenge and the air itself is polluted, like somehow there has to be a way to get back into the heart. Man, you guys let me know. I feel like a blend of constriction and like anxiety, existential angst, and just like, oh my God, what do we do about this? That is like almost woven into this message. And I wish to purify that and ensure that like the equanimity and the serenity of the love remains untouched and purifies the very survivalism, the very angst, the anxiety, the anguish, the pain, the suffering that is contained in the material embodiment that I've chosen to witness in the mirrors of scarcity that are presented to me, as well as in the material phonetic instantiation of the words themselves which I am breathing. May they be purified. May the loving essence purify the dyadic relation between the elemental arrangement of material being in which I find myself enmeshed and in the breaths which I am here transmitting to you, so that you may know what is going on in this part of the world and in all parts of the world in some different instantiation. May love and truth and the great spirit of God and the great spirit of the goddess and the great spirit of nature, truth, love, divinity, and freedom, may these purify the words themselves. May these purify the world itself. May these purify all instantiations of materiality here present and here present in the entire infinitude of the world. Truth, love, divinity, and freedom chosen by this sovereign will and all sovereign wills who resurrect their sovereignty from within their hearts and allow themselves to awaken, and reclaim their sovereignty from all extractive and deceitful measures which try to confine and contain and imprison consciousness. Truth, love, divinity, and freedom are here to melt away the confines, are here to heal as within, so without. And that is my prayer. And that is my breath. So may it be so. And I'll leave the transmission at that for now, because otherwise I will just go on and on and on and on and on and on. Thank you for listening. Thank you for witnessing. And I'm open to any reflections as to how you received these words, how you received this prayer. Um, if you've had similar experiences, yeah, this is just the beginning. There is far more shadow to unravel. And yeah, while there is an element of my prayer, including the teaching of love and light, that is not all that is needed. We somehow have to like face this shadow and face this underworld. And I'm here to face it on behalf of a lot of love and light hippies who might be being like, just choose to be positive, man. Yeah. All right. Blessings to you all. Um, and I'll have more to say, much, much, much more to say as it goes along.